Hi, this is Michael Ostrolenk, and I'm speaking with Joan Blades, the co-author of the Custom Fit Workplace. Choose when, where, and how to work, and boost the bottom line. Hello, Joan.
Hello, Michael. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
Good, thank you.
So tell us about the Custom Fit Workplace.
It's a menu of opportunities to make work better fit the modern workforce. In all too many cases, work is designed for the workforce of the 50s. And that means that people that have responsibilities outside of work often can't meet them. Turns out it's a win-win when you make it possible for people to meet their responsibilities both at work and outside of work. You've got more productive workforce, you've got less turnover, you can attract better people. It's the opportunities, flexibility, telework, nonlinear career paths, high commitment workplaces. I know I need to describe these things somewhat more, but obviously there are a lot of jobs where telework wouldn't work. But then there's some form of flexibility that would work, and keeping in mind that people's lives shift. When you make the work fit that, you retain some very valuable workers, and you don't have this turnover that's unnecessary.
You mentioned the 1950s as an example of both where we were and in many cases, unfortunately, where we still are. Mm-hmm. For the benefit of compare and contrast, can you kind of give a overview of what we'll call from now on the 1950s model, business model?
There was an assumption at that time that workers didn't have responsibilities outside of work. And so a boss could say, you got to work late tonight, or, please, we want you, did they say please, maybe, maybe not, you've got to travel to Chicago tomorrow. Well, for a person that has responsibilities, children, elders, other responsibilities, that can be a serious problem. Now, the exciting thing is companies that are being realistic, are seeing they're losing great talent when they don't have policies that are more flexible. So a few months ago in the New York Times front page of the business section, I believe you had accounting firms competing for which was the most flexible. Deloitte has something they call lattice work. People can say, I can't travel for, this year, or I'm going to do some different style of work, as in have a slow lane. You can speed up, you can slow down. There are times in people's lives when they have responsibilities. I think it's hard for them to work 60 hours a week. And in fact, I want people that have, families and are good, caring human beings to be in positions of responsibility. So when you make a career track that enables people to take care of these other responsibilities, it not only benefits the company, it makes me happier too, because I'm going to be working with better people.
Well, it sounds part of this then is work smarter, not longer and harder.
Yes.
Speak to us about working smarter, and also how technology fits into this.
Well, the biggest change in work is probably telework. People can now work anywhere in many cases. And there's one white paper that estimates that 40% of the American workforce could be teleworking, at least part-time. And if the 78% that wants to did so, just half-time, it would reduce our trade deficit by billions of dollars. It would reduce carbon emissions by well over 50 million metric tons. It reduces congestion. You've got some cities and states that are really promoting telework. Atlanta had a huge congestion bubble. When you have bad congestion and smog, some people don't care about carbon emissions, but they care about the smog. They care about not taking 3 times as long to get to work as it should because of traffic. Infrastructure. Telework's a really great option. And in fact, it creates more successful companies, because telework allows companies to hire people that they might not otherwise be able to hire, retain really great employees, typically ends up with people being more productive because the time that's saved not being in the commute is often invested, at least in part, in more work. IBM study of 24,000 IBM workers, those that could set their time and telework didn't experience work-life conflict until after 57 hours of work in a week, while those that could not experience it after 38. And you got to know that those people that weren't experiencing work-life conflict were more productive.
So if the industrial system is kind of characterized, and you said this earlier before we started this conversation, as command and control,
yes.
How would you, if you're going to use like a bumper sticker or a few phrases to describe maybe the post-industrial information age possibility that we're hopefully entering into as you're describing the custom-fit workplace, give me some adjectives to kind of describe it.
Trust and empower.
Trust and empower.
Basically, when you have people, you say, I trust you, this is what you need to get done, and you give them what it takes to get there, you've got a much more productive workforce. In fact, you find that when organizations move to telework, they get better management because it's a results-based management style as opposed to seeing someone sitting at a desk. Because someone sitting at a desk doesn't necessarily mean they're getting a lot done.
The joke, I think, also could be that you see the guy or the gal with the BlackBerry running down the hall up to the ear with the papers in their hands, running back and forth, looking really busy. Mm-hmm. As opposed, as you're saying, results-oriented. What are you actually getting done? And getting done could take so much less of the time than running around looking busy or trying to be busy to impress the boss.
That's right. Yeah. And there are all sorts of ways to evaluate, is this job good for telework? You know, you do want to do an evaluation and you want to structure jobs appropriately. But so many jobs, this would improve productivity and improve people's lives. And it makes companies more robust because if there is a weather problem, you've still got people at work. In fact, we're finding that there's some onshoring happening after all these years of offshoring because the costs have been going up overseas. They're finding people working in their homes. It's highly efficient. You get a workforce that's very stable, and it's a win-win.
I wonder if there's been any looking into the health benefits of
Absolutely.
This idea.
It really reduces absenteeism due to illness. Just think about a traditional place where a call center, cubicles, lots of people together, often not overly happy about their work situation. You change that into people in their homes working on a schedule that works for them, dramatically less absenteeism and dramatically less turnover, and better customer service, which ultimately leads to better work, more profitability.
That's great. How else besides telecommuting? What other ways, as perhaps discussed in your book, the custom fit workplace, choose when, where, and how to work and boost your bottom line, or since you've come out with your book, are ways people can think about working that's post-industrial or more humane, if you want to call it that?
My very favorite section is the high commitment workplace section, and that includes results-only work environments, which were first developed at Best Buy, which is literally what it says. All they care about is results. You work when you want, you can come in when you want, you just got to get your work done. And that is the only basis by which you are judged and advance in the company. And then there's a high-performance workplace. And I actually went to visit HPWP when they were doing a training for Dr. Pepper Snapple in Texas, because I have background in a number of places, but not a deep background in the manufacturing environment. I wanted to check this out. And their training was great. And I got to sit down with a table of managers one day that had gone through the training and been working in the plant since this training had been going on, and ask, what's different now? How has this changed? And they were talking about how there was more laughter, and people would actually come and say, this is how you can make things work better on the assembly line. Most of all, what really struck me was the guy that manages the drivers described how he used to see all the people report to him as just reports. And going to church one day and being there with one of his drivers and seeing him there in a suit with his family, an elder in this community. And what he was saying to me was that he really now saw that his reports outside of work were his peers. And that's deep, and it's kind of beautiful. So this is about really bringing respect. It's the dignity movement made concrete in the workplace.
That's a great example. Last question, and maybe we could go to like the 30,000-foot perspective. So it would seem in our conversation we had prior to this conversation that our culture tends to be conservative. The business world tends to be conservative. And you can understand in many cases why. But we are transitioning perhaps from the industrial to the post-industrial. How can we make this transition easier, more smooth, and make what you talk about in the custom fit workplace more available as the kind of the mainstream ideal?
Yeah, it should be the norm.
The norm.
And I've been thinking a lot about this. Change is something that is scary for most people. And yeah, if you're a manager and this is the way people have been doing it for the last time, you say, I want to make a change, you're putting your neck out on the line. So we need champions, and we need to change the culture, have this be visible, literally have a cultural campaign where the media, as in popular culture shows and film and music, is portraying work in a different way. And at the same time, we need CEOs to step up and say, we're doing this, and this is why it's working great for us. In addition, every single business school in this country should be teaching about how modern workplaces can be more profitable. And the spreadsheets are great. You want all the financials, you want all the ethics, but this is a deep ethic that is a win-win. So let's do it.
Great. This is Michael Ostrolenk, and I've been talking with Joan Blades, co-author of The Custom Fit Workplace. Choose when, where, and how to work and boost your bottom line. Thanks, Joan.